This is the RotoWire Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, John Halpin.
Hey everybody, it's John Halpin. Welcome to the Thursday, September 21st edition of the RotoWire Fantasy Football Podcast, sponsored by Fanball. Like every Thursday, Tim Heaney's with me, and we're going to preview Week 3. The first thing I want to ask you about, Tim, Ty Montgomery. There's a report in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel that says they suspect that they're going to reduce Ty Montgomery's workload. The Packers haven't said they're going to reduce his workload, but this beat writer seems to think they will. What do we do with this information?
Well, you have to keep in context that the first 2 games of the year they've been kind of pass heavy because they really couldn't run on Seattle as well traditionally, and they needed him in that close game. And Atlanta, they were down and they were without Jordy Nelson and all that, and Randall Cobb, so they needed Montgomery on the field all the time. It might not be that way, down the stretch, and the edict goes where they could say, all right, as the season winds down, we can use our bruiser a little bit more instead, especially when it gets colder in Lambeau and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm not worried about it from a fantasy point because he's doing what we wanted him to do anyway. He's being involved in the passing game, which the Packers are in that formations a lot anyway. Do we maybe worry about that later on in the year? Maybe a little bit. Downgrade him to like a running back 2 every week or something like that, which is what you should have been doing anyway. That's expectations you should be keeping with Montgomery because of that. So, I mean, I'm not worried about it just yet. I want to see more signs that Williams is actually involved, but Montgomery's he's been doing a pretty good job so far. So I don't know why they would want to do that right out of the gate.
Right. I mean, not a ton of high percentage of snaps. Not a huge percentage of touches. I mean, last week it was 23 touches, which is a lot. 16 last week. It's as workloads go, it's not awful.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, for the investment you made in him, shut up if you're complaining that he might get a few fewer snaps.
I mean, hopefully you got him in like round 5 instead of round 3, so right. Your ROI is even better. So it doesn't matter.
All right, everyone, we need to thank Fanball for sponsoring the RotoWire Fantasy Football Podcast. Check them out now, fanball.com. On Twitter, Tim's at Tim_Heaney. I'm at JHalpin37. Tim is also everywhere, at RotoWire, at RotoWire NFL. Basically, that's all you, or it's a lot of you.
RotoWire NFL is actually our feed of news, so you get direct news from our RSS and stuff like that. So if you don't want to if you don't want to participate in, I guess, the cheekiness of social media, that I try to do, you can just get the raw news and just do RotoWire NFL. But I hope you will do RotoWire because, like to make things fun on Sundays.
Absolutely. That's fun. Now, do you tweet all through the entire slate of games?
Yeah, here and there throughout the day, I try to, poke around a little bit. I red zone it, so right. I'm on top of most things with that. So, yeah, and, all of our RotoWire contributors, I try to, share what they do because, most of them, are great at what they do, better than me what they do. So, it's, got to share the love on social media for sure.
See, people probably envision this as like this big command center that you have, right?
Well, it is. It's a fort. So, it's Pentagon level stuff going on there.
Right? You got 20 TVs in front of you, feeds coming in,
I'm literally wearing a headset right now, so it makes sense.
Exactly. All right. Let's start with the games. Rams-Niners. Okay, quick question, completely non-fantasy related. I don't know if you know the answer to this. When the 49ers opened the stadium 2 years ago, there was a thing about how all the parking is in office parks around the stadium. And they said what happened for the first year anyway, they said they couldn't have any weeknight games. So they couldn't do Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football because there was nowhere to park. On weekends, they had sort of leased out all these parking lots around the area. So do you know how they're doing this? Have they changed? Nope. I have no idea.
I heard that originally, but no idea. Hope they worked it out because Thursday night, going to be a little bit of a mess for them. So
for the millions of people showing up for Rams 49ers.
Color rush, man.
It's color rush. Oh, did you see the crowd in there 2 weeks ago for the Panthers 49ers? Oh my God. Yeah. There's nobody there.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
I don't know.
It's almost as outdated as having Levi's for a sponsor, kind of.
And people, if they're parking from far office parks, they got to walk through the mean streets of Santa Clara to get there.
Yeah.
All right.
You're talking to someone who goes to concerts in seedier parts of Jersey. So
yeah, there you go. All right. So I don't know. This seems like basically you look at this game and you go, ugh. From a real life standpoint and a fantasy standpoint, though we shouldn't short shrift the Rams because they actually look kind of decent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more excited about the Rams in this game than I am the Niners. So,
And is there anybody? I mean, Carlos Hyde should do fine.
He'll get his workload.
Yeah.
I mean, with Aaron Donald back, how good is that going to be better than it has been against the Rams previously? Even though but then again, the Rams, even with Donald back, they gave up like 7 yards of carry to the Redskins.
I know.
So,
yeah, I mean, the Rams defense, I feel like 4 years ago, the Rams had a great year on defense, and everybody since then thinks they're awesome. Like, you look and you go, ooh, the Rams, that defense is pretty good. You go, yeah, I don't know how good it is.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Quinn is, probably needs a little more time to get his health under him a little bit after last year, I guess. Ethan Westbrooks and Michael Brockers are okay. Tremaine Johnson's a good corner. That's a saving grace there, so maybe that's a good coverage aspect of them, but yeah, there's a little bit of a weak spots here. Alec Ogletree is a great IDP player, but I don't know how great he is in real life. I don't think he lives up to that hype.
Right.
So,
anybody on offense? I mean, Gurley bounced back last week.
He did because they used him right finally.
Yeah. Watkins, he's a worry if you picked him, I think.
Yeah, there's an adjustment period going on there, but I think this is a week that he could break out. I don't know. The Niners secondary hasn't been terrible.
Right.
I think it's mostly been the run defense, but yeah, I don't know. Watkins is a wide receiver 3 still to me.
Yep. Cooper Kupp. Everyone loves Cooper Kupp.
Everybody loves Cooper Kupp.
My goodness.
Yeah, it's justified to a degree. We talked about this. It's that there's that skill set that does kind of help Jared Goff move the ball a bit better than some of the other ones for sure.
Right.
I want to see if Gerald Everett's healthy. I think he's questionable heading into tonight. He's been impressive these first 2 weeks.
Yeah, it sounds like we won't know yet. He has been impressive the first 2 weeks. Actually, in Scott Fishbowl, I dropped him and then I re-picked him up.
Oh, nice.
Because after, the first week I needed something, and then I realized, oh, right, the tight end friendly scoring.
Yes. Oops. Yes. And I'm in the best ball, Scott Fish, so I don't have to worry about that stuff. So I've had Everett this first 2 weeks, and he's been doing pretty well. So
way better. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like best ball. As I get older, I like best ball, so I don't have to worry during the week and waivers and all that. Yesterday, I'm like, oh, God, I got to bid on people again.
As you get to 9 or 10 leagues, yes, best ball's a saving grace for sure. But yeah, I mean, Everett's. I thought it would take longer for Everett to really do damage, but he's been really picking it up. So
he has 3 for 95 last week.
Yeah.
Anybody else you want to see? I mean, we covered the game it's kind of a boring game, and you've got the. Hang on a second. I mean, the over/under is 39.5.
Yeah. I think it could top that. The defenses are bad enough.
Yeah. That's probably true. The thing is, the Niners, the defensive front for the Niners is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
and I hope Foster gets back soon because he looked like he was really good in preseason.
Yeah, that would be a big loss again. Yeah.
All right. Next, Ravens Jags. All right, everybody. 9:30 a.m. Eastern Sunday. Don't forget.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who's got Yahoo's streaming this one?
I believe so. Yeah.
I can't watch it on TV.
I don't know. That's a good question. I didn't check on that.
I don't think so. All right, I got to look into that. I'm sure there's a way that my kids will help me stream it through my TV. But
yeah, Roku or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it's free on Yahoo.
Free on Yahoo. That's pretty good.
Our buddies over at Yahoo being clutch.
Thank you, Yahoo.
Yeah.
For showing us the Blake Bortles at 9:30 on a Sunday morning. We really appreciate that. Blake Bortles and Joe Flacco.
It'll go great with breakfast, Blake Bortles.
Oh my God. You're not an early riser. You're going to be up for this one, right?
I have to be. I have Terrance West. I got to decide on a couple lineups.
Oh my God! What's his story? Thigh. He might not play.
It says soft tissue injury. It's questionable. I mean, the fact that they haven't disclosed it's kind of disturbing.
Right.
I think Javorius Allen's probably the better back right now. Anyway, he's got the passing element to his game like Woodhead would, and it's definitely one you're going to have to. If you look at if you flex, have a question there, you're going to have to get up early to see what the inactives look like for this one. So
it's one of my favorite things about fantasy football is 2 weeks ago, Buck Allen was dead to everybody, and now we're falling all over ourselves to say, am I going to start him or Carlos Hyde?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they might have a two-headed monster now with them.
Buck's good. Like you said, Buck can catch passes. And the thing is, as some smart people have pointed out, when you watch, he can catch the ball pretty well. And when you see him put up big receiving numbers, you look and you go, why did they sign Danny Woodhead again?
Seriously. I mean, Mario Puig does the film review article, which has been a big hit for us. He raved about Allen these first 2 weeks. He's just been very smooth. He looks the part. I don't think it's a fluke. I'm actually kind of happy I got him before the rush came in the league. I picked him up before week 1 with the Woodhead stuff. So I'm like, all right, sweet. Now I'm in a pretty decent spot.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Fournette he's going to get all the work he can handle. So even if he gets 3 yards a carry, he's viable.
He probably will this week.
Yeah, he probably will. That Ravens defense is no joke.
Yeah, they're back in that rep again. Watching C.J. Mosley patrol the middle of that field is fun.
Yeah, it is.
He's a beast.
This is a weird game because you look. I like the Jags defense.
Yeah,
and I don't like Flacco, but Bortles is worse than Flacco, and the Ravens defense is better than the Jags defense.
Yeah, I have to say that. Even though the Jags defense, we peg them as kind of an up and comer in fantasy wise, but there's still some weak spots here, and I think that the Ravens either way are going to probably expose it more often. I mean, Macklin seems like a great matchup, especially coming from the slot.
Right. I actually am starting the Jags defense in a league this week.
That's not a bad idea. I think Flacco will still be good for a couple of sacks.
Right.
So
and plus, and they're Saxonville. So
yeah, there you go. And Wallace and Perine haven't really been that efficient this year so far. So
what about tight end last week? So everybody, I feel like Ben Watson was a popular question from people this week, but they threw to Maxx Williams too in week 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jacksonville's. I think they've been okay in giving up points to tight ends. I think that's a big part of what that is this week as well. I don't know. I'm surprised that they're fitting in 2 tight ends like that, and we're getting excited about it because, as bad as Wallace and Perriman have been, that's still, I think, the preferred guys on the field. So right. I don't know. I think Watson's a good contingency plan for all the tight end carnage that we happened to experience last week, but I don't know. It might be, now that Evan Engram's got health issues too, that kind of removes another option from there. So Watson does look a little bit better. So. Yeah,
and remember last year, Pitta caught what? 80? How many passes? A ton.
Yeah, he sneakily caught a lot of passes.
Right. He caught for like 5 yards a catch or something, or it seemed like it anyway.
PPR, yeah.
I know. All right, Browns-Colts is our first normal time game of the week.
Yeah.
T.Y. Hilton last week was not – the production was not great, but the looks he got 9 targets, and that's enough. They're not high efficiency targets, though. Brissett's not terrible. He's not good.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He's not Scott Tolzien. That's, faint praise, but could you T.Y. Hilton, he's a borderline, he's a flexi wide receiver 3 type, I guess?
Yeah, kind of like the Minnesota downgrade without Bradford. This is kind of, even more of a degree of that. Hilton, you have to kind of still have to make him as a wide receiver 3, I think, because of your investment in him, and he still has the downfield stuff. If he does happen to break one, it's gonna be very good. Brissett, I have more confidence in hitting him than Tolzien. So, yeah, wide receiver 3. The tone of my voice can tell you how excited I am to really say I'm confident in that.
Yeah, I guess whatever, right?
Yeah.
The Jack Doyle though, we're excited about Jack Doyle.
Yeah. It makes sense with both these quarterbacks that have really targeted Doyle. He's just kind of been a safety valve, and that's the tight end notion that the guys will check down. This one's actually coming true. So
exactly right. We always say, he's going to throw. It's a bad quarterback. He's got to throw to the tight end 7 times. It always happens. Right. On the other side, are you on the Rashard Higgins train?
Well, not to the extent that people fabbed like 12% of their budget on him. Which
people went crazy about him this week.
I get it. The connection's there. There's a little bit of skill to be had. I don't want to say, like the Travis Benjamin fervor when he first broke out with them. But someone's got to catch the ball, I guess. And, Corey Coleman going down is a big hit. And, Britt hasn't really shown it much. Maybe it might be a bad offensive switch for him. The system might not be as good. But you think he wouldn't be a system guy because he's just mostly go.
Right.
I don't know. Njoku stole that touchdown, and Septa Valve's still pretty decently involved.
Yep.
I don't know. I still bank on the running game and Duke Johnson and Crowell more than Higgins to be a major part of things because I think Kaiser opens up the running game as well, and we'll see more of that as we go along, because the Browns' offensive line is still pretty good. So I don't know.
Yes.
I think people are going a little bit crazy on Higgins. I think he's a flex guy, but I see the potential there for a little bit more.
The other guy I want to ask you about, Frank Gore. He never dies.
Mm-hmm.
He never dies, does he?
No.
I mean, last week, 14 for 46 and a touchdown. You go. I mean, you were drafting him in probably the 7th round. At some point, people were saying, at the end, you picked all wide receivers, and then maybe you got a quarterback, and you got one running back, and you got to 6 or 7. You went, all right, I guess I'll take Frank Gore.
Yeah.
It's him or Paul Perkins.
Oh,
Frank Gore, he's going to get the ball 12, 14 times a game.
Yeah, well, the floor for Gore,
Right.
they should make a rhyme out of that. The floor for Gore,
floor for
whatever.
Gore. That's good.
The Gore floor. I don't know.
But this week, it's fine.
Yeah,
we can live with them.
Fine. Yeah, that line is just garbage still. Oh my god.
Right.
Costanzo aside, I guess he's been okay, but oh my goodness, that's not fun to run behind.
This is not a good game.
No, just throw in the Jets, make it like a triple threat match for the Tank Bowl or whatever.
All right, Steelers Bears. Ben Roethlisberger on the road. Everybody. Oh no, disaster.
Do we care?
What do you think? They're not the first week. I still am of the opinion that the Bears. I know last week was terrible, but I still think the Bears can be. They're going to be keeping games close at home, like the Falcons game.
Yeah, I mean the Steelers' offensive line is better than one they've faced, I believe, so far. So I don't know. I don't think they'll get to Big Ben as much as people think, and the cornerbacks have been awful. Secondary's been awful in general. I don't know. This might be the game that defies the narrative. I'm willing to lean that way with Roethlisberger on the rough.
So he's a top 12 for you this week?
Yeah, I think so. You're playing Brown. You're playing Bryant. I don't think you're letting the road matchup concern you with those guys. You're playing Bell. I don't know if you're playing Jesse James, the outlaw again, but
right.
That's different.
All right,
but they did have that bad defense against Hooper, and then I guess the Bucs tight ends didn't do much, but I think that seems like a real last ditch matchup throw if you want to put James in there, I guess, but not excited about it.
I'm not either. Are you excited about Tarik Cohen this week?
No. Yeah, they're going to need to throw against the Steelers, I think.
Right. But is he going to catch? I mean, the thing is, if the guy doesn't catch, I mean, he's going to he has to touch the ball probably 15 times?
At least 10. Yeah.
I mean, what else are they going to do with it? Give it to Deontay Thompson?
Or Josh Bellamy or Kendall Wright, whatever.
Right.
I mean, Wright's okay, but he's not a number one receiver.
Right.
But they got to do some more tricky stuff with Cohen. They got to give him more like swing passes or wheel stuff more so, or like direct snaps. I don't know if direct snaps will help Cohen as much as others because I guess the size might be a consideration there. But I don't know. They got to get creative with him. He's going to be the key to keeping that offensive alive, especially if Jordan Howard's going to still be injured.
Right.
We
don't know his status this week.
It doesn't seem that way, no.
But we are. I mean, if you have him, it's one of those things. If you have him, you got to play him, even though you're not happy about it.
Yeah, and in 2 leagues I have him, I feel that way. So.
Yeah, that stinks. Okay, everybody, we've talked about daily fantasy sports before. We know you've tried, and you have fun and you like it, but you just lose more than you'd like. Right? I mean, especially when you play in the big pools with the Sharks, and it kind of drives you away from playing a little bit. But this is supposed to be fun. And we're here to tell you about a whole new approach to daily fantasy sports, the Fanball number at fanball.com. Here's the Fanball difference. Your Fanball number identifies your skill level. It ensures that you play in contests against players at your skill level. So say your Fanball number is, 40. You're not going to play against experts rated in the 80s and 90s. That's silly. You're going to play with people like you who have 40s just like you. Because those experts, they have their own contests. Fanball.com, every player has a Fanball number, and every contest has a Fanball number. So you find the contest rated where you are, and it'll have players just like yourself. They've leveled the playing field with the Fanball number at Fanball.com. Have more fun and a better chance to win. Fanball.com. Thanks a lot, Fanball, for helping us out with this podcast and being a great supporter. Dolphins, Jets. Am I crazy to think the Jets could win this?
Jay Cutler, turnovers maybe. I don't know.
That Hail Mary was fantastic.
It was vintage.
Oh,
basically.
God. It was 20 yards out of bounds.
Yeah. Smoking Jay.
And you have this image of him just shrugging his shoulders like, I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah.
I missed.
Yeah. I don't know. That line is still pretty bad. to go along with that. And despite the fact they traded Richardson, I think there's still some pass rush they could get. But the cornerback plays, another one that's been bad. Landry and Parker just seem like it's going to be too much for them, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
JHI, the Jets have been pretty dismal against the run. So, that their trio of guys plus Cutler seemed like this is going to be a good week for them. I get what you're saying, though. Overall, it could still be a weird game that they could maybe, threaten.
Right. So the opposite of what I said about Buck Allen, where 2 weeks ago he was dead to everybody. 2 weeks ago, everybody loved Bilal Powell.
Yeah. So did I. I did as well.
And I know it's looking back, hindsight's 20/20 and all that. But looking back, I know what I was thinking. I looked every time I saw Matt Forte's name, I was like, come get out of here. Come on. The guy's done. Forget it. He's still there. And
then he had 15 carries or whatever last week. He had a big week, or at least touch wise. Yeah.
Could you? A lot of people are cut. Are you cutting Bilal Powell if you own him? Because I think a lot of people are.
I still believe in the skill. If the opportunity does arise, I don't want to be the one that actually cut him. But yeah, I don't know. 10 teamers, I could see it. If it's if you have 4 running backs that are okay besides him, I still like the talent. And maybe maybe if they can get away with trading a Forte this year or something, or they can, I don't know. It's tough. The opportunity might not be there for the immediate future. If you're 0-2, I could see the need, unless you want to just say, "Oh, yeah, I'll hang on and see what happens." But it's not going to help you, probably.
Right.
So, and Elijah McGuire's even getting involved a bit now, which is even worse. So, I don't know. It's an ugly situation. You don't want to bank on either one of these guys as more than a flex, but I still want to hang on to Powell. I still think there's something there to like for the rest of the year.
All right. So how we were all waiting on Austin Seferian-Jenkins because he was on the straight and narrow, right?
Yeah. Right.
And all his troubles were behind him. And now he's going to come to the Jets, and we talked in the preseason about, they got to throw to somebody, and he's talented. Looks like he might not be in good enough shape to play in week 3 now that he's eligible to play.
Oh man! And then there's Will Tye, who always steals anything, back with the Giants and with the Jets.
Right.
He does the same thing.
Is there a Jet you could play?
I like Jermaine Kearse still. I mean,
all right.
There's experience there. There's a guy that can go up and get some balls in traffic. I like Robbie Anderson. I think Curley's useful in a real life role, not a fantasy role, to better a passing game overall. But I don't know. I think Kearse is the one that actually excites me because the Seahawks never gave him a sustained chance because they always mix in Richardson and other guys like that. And I think there's a little bit something here. I think he can get the 6 to 7 targets per week. And you could be okay with that as a flex and a bye week fill-in. So I still think there's something to him.
Okay. I can see that. I mean, I don't know what my options would have to be.
I mean, I don't think 2 touchdowns, it's not, I know it's obvious to say don't expect that every week, but I think that, that's even a 1 touchdown, here and there is still not going to be a thing to expect. PPR, you say, all right, he'll catch 5 for 50. I'm okay with that. And then that's your baseline for a while. So.
Right. It's not terrible. Yeah. Like I said, in the league, I have him in like I mentioned, fishbowl, but I'm starting 6 receivers. So, it's fine with me. I'm happy to have
him. Exactly.
Broncos, Bills. This is a trap for the Broncos. I know the Bills aren't good. This is a big trap for the Broncos.
In the sense it's a road game. Yeah, I can see that.
Because they're not that good. I know they look good right now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, last week, I don't know what that was. I know you watched all of it.
But, well, yeah. But you don't know what that was, huh?
I don't know what that was for the Broncos. I'm watching the Broncos. The first week I thought the Chargers were going to beat them, and it was pretty close. Mm-hmm. And last week, all right, they got a really good defense, and maybe Siemian's a little better than we give him credit for. And I like C.J. Anderson. Mm-hmm. But no way, man. The Broncos are not. I think the Broncos are good. If the Broncos score more than 20 this Sunday, I will be surprised.
I believe the Broncos, there's some reality to what they're doing. Siemian does look very much more mobile and more decisive with the ball. They killed the Cowboys with 3 straight bootlegs in the red zone or something like that. Right. Insane. There's a lot. If they play that game, he's going to be top 10 quarterback the rest of the year in fantasy. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think there's potential for it. This is the best defensive line they've faced. You're right. I mean, There's a lot of it's definitely a good test defense for them. I'll definitely agree with you there. It's going to be. I think you're right about the trap. The more I think about it, because there's a bit more of resistance to this Bills team, and not that Denver's not used to trap playing in such northern conditions or whatever. It might not even matter at this time of year, but there's an aspect that I think they can get by. But yeah, it's going to be. I think the Bills are going to surprise some people the way they play. Yeah, I'll agree with you. I think it should be actually a surprisingly fun game to watch.
They surprised me last week, for sure.
And Carolina's got its flaws, but
I know. But the Broncos, I look at the Broncos. I'm not being a Bronco hater. I just think they're a 10-6 type team for me.
Right.
Which is fine. A 9-7, maybe 10-6, maybe. And this is, the way they looked the last 2 weeks, I think people are back to, the Broncos are awesome. Well, I don't know.
They're very good. They got a good base. Yeah, I mean, they control the trenches well for the most part. And the cornerback plays, obviously stellar, and Von Miller. It's a good core to build around for a playoff team for sure. Right. But you look at the Bills. Jordan Matthews, Zay Jones, not really guys that are going to threaten in the passing game anyway. So, McCoy touches the ball 30 times maybe. They rested him Wednesday. Veteran rest. Maybe it's just going to be a huge day for him. Which will that get anywhere with the Broncos? I don't know, because Elliott got fouled up and the Bills' offensive line is not the greatest either. They got some talent there, but yeah, I don't know. It could be one of those games where Taylor's just enough, and they have sustained long enough drives to keep the Broncos off the field. I guess I don't know. It's a weird game. You're right to be thinking that about, but it could be a very close one.
All right. So C.J. Anderson, if you have him, are you you're playing him? I don't know if you're happy about. I don't know how excited. I'm probably less excited than other people about playing him this week, and I'm a fan of his.
Oh, yeah. Again, it's not the Cowboys' defensive line he's going to chew up this week. So, Buffalo's got some sturdiness there. And, yeah, he'll get 15 to 20 touches probably. Right. Charles is still going to invade on a little bit, but I don't think Devontae Booker is going to do much damage even if he does return. So, yeah, flex, just be tempered with your flex. I'll say flex expectations and be cute with it. But
I like that. That's a good one.
We're writers, John. We got to do this sort of thing.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I like Anderson overall for the year. I think that he's kind of restored himself as a lethal back. But yeah, this might be a step back for him.
Okay. Texans, Pats. So huge spread in this one.
Yeah.
Pats are 13.5. Pats are the highest by the over-under, highest implied point total of the week at 28.75.
Yeah.
You can find this on RotoWire, by the way, if you're looking for any of the implied totals, over-unders, money lines, whatever you got. We're not just about fantasy here, everybody.
RotoWire.com/football/NFL-lines.
Yep.
.php.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so Pats, Gillislee's been strong. As Gillislee has been what we expected. So, fantasy-wise, he's been strong.
Yes, he's also been quite lucky with the positioning of the ball and when he's getting the call on some of these things.
But we thought this would. Look. Yes, he's been lucky, literally lucky. But in general terms, we thought a lot of touchdowns in this offense, and if they get near the goal line, he's the guy. It's the blunt roll. The narrative is working perfectly so far.
It is. No, I'll agree to that for sure. Narrative, yes.
Okay. Receiving wise, Amendola, is he back?
I thought he was still questionable. I
hate the questionable tag. It's funny. My daughter, who plays fantasy football, is always asked every day, "Is this guy going to play?" I'm worried. He's questionable. I'm like, damn, with the lack of probable designations.
Well, and the Patriots are masters of questionable. So,
right.
But that's what they've been doing it for years.
Amendola limited at Wednesday's practice. So it's
got to be a decent sign.
Yeah.
I think.
Hogan, are you back in? Do we know what to make of Hogan after last week?
I think that was just the Saints. But then again, the Texans, their secondary is not the greatest either. So,
right.
Amendola coming back, tempers that a little bit. The Gronkowski stuff looks like he's okay.
Right.
So that might be just a questionable, just to scare or to make the opponents shake their heads or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. The Hogan Amendola question is going to be there for a while. Even the Brandon Cooks question, he hasn't really been what we wanted him to be. But the thing is with him, you see, he has really successful downfield attempts, but it's a lot of PI calls that he gets. I wish those counted for fantasy. He'd be very good at that. The yardage, just add that on as special teams yardage or something like that. But I think that's gonna break through one day, and I think it's gonna be against this defense. So I don't know.
All right,
it's just a matter of time.
Are you trying to buy low on Cooks right now?
I don't know if you can, because people, it's a Patriots offense.
I think you could, though. I mean, it depends. There are people, Derek Van Riper, for instance, when things, the way things broke down in the preseason, Derek was one of the people saying to me, I think Cooks is a top 5 receiver. If you think that and you still think it, then you can buy him low.
I don't think you just buy. I don't think you can buy low.
All right.
You give up a running back that you're really – and if you have like 3 or 4 running backs, if you happen to pick up like a Javorius Allen or something like that and you're deep in running back, then you give up a running back for him.
Right.
It's a top guy like a McCoy or something like that. So,
but could you give up a guy like – all right, I'm going to look at the running back.
Yeah, please. Oh, it is a good exercise. We should do this.
Do you think you could get Cooks for a guy like Lamar Miller?
Maybe. You probably have to throw someone in.
Okay.
With Miller. Maybe it sucks. I think Miller could have a good game against New England because they've been a little bit weak against the run.
Yeah.
When the game script has flown that way, but
I'd be happy to do that. Like I think if I got Cooks for that, I'd be really excited, and I think Cooks could completely blow that up in your favor.
I agree. Miller, there's workload questions, so people might know that one. Sorry if I blew up anyone's spot on that one, trying to do the trade after this. But, you'd have to give 2, I think, in most cases, because if you want to pair that okay running back with somebody. All right,
so you don't think the Cooks owner at this point is like, damn it, this was a miss?
I think they're going to be prone to hold on because they spent a round 2 pick on him.
Okay. On the other side... so the cliche is that the Pats like to take out one guy. Is Hopkins the guy?
I think it has to be.
Right? So now he's going to get thrown to 15 times, and he's going to be double covered, and the quarterback's going to be Deshaun Watson.
He might still catch 6 in that setup because he makes the best of bad situations with Texans quarterbacks.
He does. That's true.
But as much as you want to say New England's defense has kind of been weak, they still do very good at facing rookie quarterbacks most of the time. So
yeah, Watson, I don't know if you and I didn't talk about this last week because
we didn't.
He's interesting because he's not right now a good real life quarterback, but I still think he could be a pretty good fantasy quarterback
because he'll break down and he'll run.
Yeah, so he's gonna be like, screw this, everyone's covered. There's a rush. I'm out of here. I'm leaving.
He's plenty of experience there, and the Pats pass rush isn't as good as it used to be. They're kind of relying on lesser name guys, so maybe the edge rushing could miss a lot on him. That's my guess. So,
right.
2 quarterback leagues, you have to start Watson. I think either way, just for the potential of garbage time stuff.
He's 4,700 on DraftKings. Everybody.
Yeah, that could be real. That could work out on DraftKings.
Yeah, it's nice. All right, Saints Panthers. Panthers are a little bit of trouble. They're 2-0. I don't mean to exaggerate. The offense is struggling.
Yeah.
The Bills were good last week, like we said. The Christian McCaffrey experiment, fantasy-wise, I thought all along that a third-round pick was not going to pay off, much as I like the player, and I think I'm right.
It was a risk-reward play, and I did it. I did a round 4 pick of him in one league, in the Fishbowl League, actually. So, it's tough. But this, Greg Olsen injury might expand his route tree. It might expand his opportunities, but it still might be asking a lot to upgrade him hugely over a flex.
Right. I think what they're going to do, they're struggling to run. What they're saying they want to do is get Curtis Samuel more involved, right? So he would be basically for lack of a better term, the Ted Ginn role. Like someone's got to go deep. The thing is, with all the receivers they have, they don't have a vertical threat. If they have one, maybe that opens things up.
Benjamin, you throw balls up to him in traffic, he'd be really good. But yeah, for some reason, he's not getting downfield. I think he's not getting downfield as much because Cam's not being very efficient. He's not his pocket awareness just doesn't seem very good right now.
And the line's not good.
Right. PFF actually rates them pretty well. But yeah, left tackle play with Khalil has really kind of been a mess.
Yes.
With all this, and Cam's just missing guys. He's missed Benjamin a few times. So yeah, it's going to be weird without Olsen. Dickson's okay though. He's a good real life replacement, I think, to kind of take a little bit of pressure off. But fantasy, I don't know. I still like Devin Funchess a little bit. He had a pretty busy week last week too with Olsen down.
I know, but I feel like we've been down this road, and it's just not gonna. He's gonna disappoint.
But now no one cares, and that's why I like to pounce.
He's free and he's a stash, but
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that's going to pay off to where he's going to be a top 30 wide receiver?
No, I think it's buy coverage, which you're going to need coming up.
Okay.
So,
that's fair.
Russell Shepard still kind of does a little bit here and there too, and it's weird how there's still a lot of guys fighting for those scraps though now. So,
and Dickson, I don't know. When I look down at the low end, I get down to tight ends number 13, 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ed Dickson could reasonably be in that argument. I think he's going to catch 4 passes.
Yeah, right. One might be a touchdown every other week or something like that.
Right.
Yeah,
and they're playing the Saints.
Yeah, well, that's always the cure for everything, right?
I mean, it's so cliche, but I mean, so what?
Yeah, I mean, you figure if Marshawn Lattimore, the cornerback, actually does continue playing well for the Saints, they might have to look elsewhere besides KB, which is interesting.
That's true.
I mean,
yeah, I think you're right about McCaffrey getting busier and being used, but basically, filling the gap for Olsen somehow.
Yeah, I just don't think Samuel has a little bit. I don't know if they're good. I mean, they talk about working him in, but he's a rookie, so I don't know. There's not a team that really should be relying on a rookie not named McCaffrey. I guess maybe I'm being hypocritical there, but they have so much other depth at wide receiver. I'm scared of that.
But he's the only one with real speed is the thing.
I guess. Yeah, that's true.
All right, so the Saints.
Yeah.
I mean, the Panthers' D is playing very well.
Yeah.
As Saints, okay, so you're playing Thomas, you're playing Breeze. Running back, Ingram, are you looking to play him?
It's mostly going to be Ingram for me. Then again, I will say the Panthers have played the Niners and the Bills. So
yeah,
defense looks better, but it still is a very skilled group. I'll give you that for sure. And Breeze is on the road, so you never, there might be some downfall there as well. But this is he's familiar going to Carolina. It's a divisional game he's used to.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be Ingram most weeks for me in the backfield. I believe in him the most. Kamara, maybe if the game gets out of hand and Carolina really goes ham on that Saints defense.
Right.
And then Peterson's just, I don't know, he's just there. He's just he's a token veteran right now. I don't know. He didn't sign up for what he's doing, but too bad. He didn't read the contract, I guess.
He maybe gets a reward touchdown somewhere.
Somewhere on the line. I have him only in a best ball league, and he was a round 11 pick because no one cared.
That's fine.
So whatever.
Kobe Fleener, any interest?
Well, might be the last week that he's really got that opportunity because we got Willie Snead coming back. So
yeah, right.
I like Fleener. That's one of the guys that you should really have chased if you lost Olsen, if he was still available somehow.
Right.
But yeah, I think there's six or seven targets coming up this week for sure.
All right. By the way, Ed Dickson, 2,700 on DraftKings.
There you go. GPP. Yeah.
And speaking of DraftKings, it's not too late to get closer to the game you love with DraftKings 1 week fantasy football. This Sunday, DraftKings is hosting a $100,000 pick'em contest that is totally free to enter. How about that? Pick'em is the newest way to play 1 week fantasy football, and drafting your team is faster than ever. Have you tried Pick'em yet, Tim?
I'm going to do it this week after I saw this ad. So yeah,
it's really cool. I tried it last week, and it was the only thing I won, which was nice. But yeah, it was good. It's easy to pick. You whip through it in a few minutes because basically it's 8 screens with I think 8 players each. So and you pick one from each tier, so it's kind of cool. And Chris Hogan was my guy last week that I picked in his tier.
Tiers is the way to go in fantasy football and baseball either way. So yeah.
So DraftKings has organized players into 8 tiers, like I said, and all you have to do is select one player from each tier. You choose between public contests with big cash prizes or private contests where you can compete against a group of your friends. DraftKings also has beginner and casual contests where you'll play against people of a similar skill level, and the best part is you get to draft a new team each week without any commitment. So go to DraftKings.com now and use promo code WIRE to play in DraftKings free contest with $100,000 in total prizes this Sunday. That's promo code WIRE to compete for your share of $100,000 in total prizes. The contest is totally free to enter, so really, why wouldn't you try it? DraftKings, the game inside the game. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Thanks, DraftKings. All right, Vikings-Bucks, we do not know the Sam Bradford status.
Yeah, it's important to know.
Yeah.
The one there's no line so far because of it, right?
Right.
Still.
Last I checked, there was no line. Hang on, let me double check there. Yep, still off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Diggs and Thielen owners are completely dependent on this.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they're just about out if he doesn't play, right?
I think so. the Bucs, it was the Bears, but I think there's some defensive upside of this team, and I think Keenum would just be kind of washed out in that matchup, even though Vikings are the home team, right? So
right,
yeah.
The other side, it's so funny. I read something the other day. I was looking through some of the PFF stuff, and I just read a note about how well O.J. Howard graded out as a blocker.
Hey,
which cracked me up.
Who was talking about that?
Right.
but I believe he was on the field more than Brait, or definitely at least involved more than Brait.
Right.
So,
but he's a blocker, and he's good at it.
He's good at it. He's very good at it.
You wish he wasn't, but he is.
He's so good at it. Oh, man.
That's too bad. For fantasy purposes, that's too bad. I hate seeing that. I hate this real life stuff interferes.
It's great for Jameis Winston, though. Helps him develop more downfield plays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that, so, yeah.
All right. I mean, Bucs wise, everybody else. I know the Vikings are good, but you're rolling with your Deshaun Jackson. Yeah.
Well, he's probably going to be the one to avoid Xavier Rhodes, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a reason that I'm actually kind of excited in DFS for the possibilities there.
Okay.
They definitely had some deep tries between Winston and him. They couldn't connect. Maybe the cliche extra week of preparation and stuff like that might help. But then again, those if Harrison Smith's the one guarding him, that's going to be tough on the deep plays over the top. So, yeah, I don't know. Winston could either just have a huge quantity or just crap out. I think there's going to be no in between here with that.
Okay.
Mike Evans is going to be tough though with the Rose matchup too.
Yes.
So, wide receiver 3, I think he'll still catch like 5 or 6,
probably,
but they might not go for much. So.
Falcons Lions is up. One of the higher over-unders of the week, 50.5. I think it's the second highest right now. I'm really liking Mohamed Sanu as a PPR solid under-the-radar guy. Yeah.
I mean, you figure Darius Slay will be on Julio Jones, but I don't think that matters for Jones. I wouldn't make that downgrade him too much because I think he's almost matchup proof at this point. Sanu's been the consistent one. Aside from him, I mean, Gabriel's kind of been involved on swing plays here and there, like they've tossed the ball to him out of the backfield a lot, and the Austin Hooper train predictably kind of died off last week. We talked about the fluky week 1 touchdown. There's still a lot of skill to Hooper. I'm not saying I dislike Hooper, but this actually might be a good matchup because the Lions have been weak against tight ends, if I'm not mistaken. They at least Evan Ingram score on them last week. So
is Hooper a guy now? Okay, let's say some of the Hooper owners, because the investment wasn't big, some of the Hooper owners cut bait, right? So is he someone? I mean, he's only got 2 targets per game so far.
Yes, I think it's 2 in each game, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you look at this as a nice buying opportunity? Because before the season, it was this guy's really going to step up. I think a lot of us thought that. And are you looking at the first 2 games as, oh no, we misjudged it, or fluke?
I think he's going to get there. But you do have to worry about the Gabriel and the Sanu distribution, and obviously Freeman and Coleman being involved there. That's going to eat into everyone besides Julio to some degree. But I don't know. That's a heck of a red zone presence if they use him right.
Right.
So and good physical player. As we saw week 1. Another top 15 tight end type. It's kind of what you were talking about before. Like he could be Fleener for the rest of the year when Fleener's looks go down, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah. So
other side, Abdullah's stats were nice last week. He had 1 big run.
Yeah. I know I've dogged Abdullah's fantasy potential. I like him as a runner still.
Me too.
I mean, you look at how he ran against the Giants last week. When he was called upon, he was very clean with a lot of them, and that big run at the end kind of padded things for sure. But I just think there's a lot to like about one. If he gets like a 15 to 20 carry, I still think he's the best running back there for sure.
And I think this narrative about the Lions, well, it's not just a narrative. They haven't been able to run well for a long time.
It's not a narrative.
But I think their line's better. Mm-hmm. It's improved over the last couple of years, and Abdullah's not bad. I don't think this is the typical, why would you get a Lions running back?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're still going to own Riddick everywhere, especially in PPR. The game script didn't need him last week because they were kind of in control for most of the game. Right. So Abdullah's the guy that's going to run the clock out. The Lions might be a better team this year overall. So I don't know if you pick the right week where Abdullah's going to be needed more so. I mean, people say Zach Zenner was inactive and Washington's now hurt. So maybe when those guys are healthy, it might be different. But I don't know. I still believe in Abdullah to a degree. I'm not gonna be that scared if he's going to be a flex guy only for me.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to start him this week. I actually think I picked the Lions in this game.
You know what? I've been going back and forth on this one too. I think Detroit's a better team than most people think.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and if they win this game, you are going to hear the earliest. The Matt Stafford is leading the MVP race.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he conquered the Cardinals' good secondary. That's a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
I mean, the Giants, without Jenkins, a little bit easier target, but I don't know. I'm a Matthew Stafford apologist a lot of the time too. So
I mean, I like him. I mean,
crazy contract or not, yeah.
Right. Speaking of the Giants, so we don't know how healthy Beckham is still. He's going to play, but we don't know what kind of effectiveness there was. It didn't seem like there was a ton of it last week, and he didn't play a ton.
Well, the problems run deep with the Giants.
Yeah, but where I always often go in situations like this, I look at them, right, and I say, they're not going to roll over and die. Like they're not. They were 11-5 last year, and the problems run deep. We talked about it last week, and they're obvious. I mean, do we think they're going 5-11? Maybe, but I don't know. I just feel like it's after 2 weeks we don't want to crown teams, and we don't want to write them off either, unless we know they're really bad, like the Jets.
Yeah. But there's fundamental offensive problems with the Giants in scheme and
sure,
Brandon Marshall
last year.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, you're right. They were. Having Janoris Jenkins in the lineup always helps, and not having him definitely is what caused the loss, I think, last week. Just besides the offensive problems, the defense has still got great personnel. You're right. That's something they do well. Spagnuolo is, that's what's going to help this team. Beckham, as he gets healthier, their chances to be better will increase because he can do more after the catch, which is what he makes a living off of, basically. Marshall, Shepard, there's still something there. Marshall's just, I don't know, maybe Marshall, that's another new team adjustment with Eli or whatever. Ingram was going to be a big key to what this offense can do.
Yeah.
You talk about the running game, all their struggles. Perkins, I still think Perkins wins out eventually. Maybe I'm crazy to thinking that, but there's so much flexibility with what he can do with the ball if you get him in space. I'm going to argue this every week.
Right.
I don't know.
And we keep thinking it has to happen at some point.
But
last year at the end, he ran well.
I know.
And it's the same group. That's the thing. I know they were bad on offense last year, but there were times that things went well, and it was the same people.
Yeah. I mean, and the Cowboys might be more vulnerable this year with those offensive line troubles, and the defense, they didn't even bother replacing anybody. The Eagles, we still like the Eagles in this division, I think, so this might be a telling game for that. So there's still a lot of fluidity in this division, I think. I mean, the Giants are bad, but I think there's stuff that they can correct. It's early enough that they're identifying them. Maybe, although Chris Liss might argue that Ben McAdoo won't even notice or care.
That's true. He would argue that. I don't know. I just feel like it's too. If they win this Sunday, I'm not going to be blown away by it. That's all. I don't think I would predict it.
Right.
But I'm not going to be shocked where I would be with other people.
But I don't think Eli's going to have any time to throw against that defensive line. It's a great front.
They're really good. Other side. So LeGarrette Blount. What do we do with this?
I don't want to play
Were there people protesting? Did I see that? There were guys protesting at the Eagles complex with signs that said "Run the ball." Like, what do you have? What do you have to do with your life, or what little do you have to do if that's what you decide to do on a Monday afternoon?
Oh my God! Yeah, I mean, the excitement over Carson Wentz that we had was kind of like, oh great, they got to have a running game too with that. So, Sproles is still the guy going to be in the passing down formations. It's kind of like, the Ty Montgomery rule, I guess, that he will be on the field for those, and they do that more often than not. So, I don't know. Blunt, his touchdown was a reception in week 1 from the goal line. That just shows you how much they pass.
Right.
But I don't know.
So for week 3 against the Giants, who are pretty good, is there basically the only startable Eagle Alshon Jeffrey? I mean, Sproles,
Ertz.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Tight end touchdowns the Giants have given up as well, Ebron and Witten. So, Ertz for sure.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. The Smith-Aguilar question is going to be frustrating every week, too, I think.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think, is it that frustrating? I mean, how deep do you have to be to think about one of those guys?
Well, bye weeks is going to be hell. I mean, a lot of, again, depends a lot on whether Jenkins plays. If they want to avoid him, maybe you go deep to Smith and Aguilar a bunch this week.
Okay. Seahawks Titans. Are you all right? So this we probably don't think, speaking of things we don't want to make decisions on after 2 weeks, I don't want to write off the Seahawks offense. I mean, it's another one. The offensive line issues, this is not new. But are you going into Tennessee? I feel like everybody this week, one of the other guys I've gotten tons of questions about is Chris Carson. Do you want to pick him up if you haven't yet, and if you still can? Certainly. Do you want to start him at Tennessee on Sunday?
Yeah, for flex. He's got the build to be the feature back. I don't know if the skill is necessarily there to keep the whole year. He's the guy now. If you have him, he's in the lead. Great. I still like pro size to really chew into that as things go along. I just don't know how much they're going to do against the Titans. I think I think the Titans win this game. To be honest with you.
And then you can buy low on so many of the Seattle guys next week if we're right.
Oh, for sure. But I don't think it's going to get much done against the Titans. With like I said, that offensive line is going to be a little bit of an issue, and I don't know. I think we're going to see Carson come back to earth, especially if Jimmy Graham's not going to play. Right. So I don't know. There's a lot to say about. I don't want to buy too high on Carson. I mean, if you picked him up, stash him, great. You play him, but I don't know. I said this might be a pro size game because of the fact that they'll probably won't get much to do on that Titans front. So I don't know. I see a lot of disappointment coming in the next couple of weeks with Carson. Okay, so just a guy in a similar range, Carson or Frank Gore for this week. I mean, I guess Gore because of the matchup. I don't know. Okay, it's tough. I mean, maybe I'm being too conservative with that pick, but I need to see a little bit more from Carson to really, really go crazy on him. Okay. What's DeMarco Murray's status right now? I'm looking it up. Didn't practice Wednesday. So Derrick Henry. Oh boy, the Yahoo folks are all over Derrick Henry. Did you see that? Yeah. Well, I've had conversations with Dalton Del Don, another good RotoWire podcast guest with Chris Liss actually. I mean, I was like, hopefully we're not in the same leagues together because I love Derrick Henry too, but I never got him. I'm kind of pissed about that. So, but there was a thing on Yahoo. I think it was yesterday. Yeah. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Derrick Henry, basically, Derrick Henry is going to lead you to fantasy championships. And I'm looking at that, I'm going, wow. I mean, DeMarco Murray, did he break his leg? I get that Derrick Henry's good, but do we really foresee a changing of the guard here? I think there's the upside for Henry to do that. I think if the Titans gave him 10 touches a game, I think he could still be like a weekly flex. Regardless, I think that the running game, we saw how great it could be last year. And if Murray's out for any period of time, then I think Henry's got beast potential. You look at him. I mean, do I say trade for him? Do I say give up anything of known value for him? I don't think so right now. Maybe it's good to try to buy low if the case that Henry is going to be injured for a while, but I don't know. I think it's a bold call, and bold calls, do get page views. I know. I'm okay with that. And I don't think they're doing it for click. They're not. That was a joke. I love what Yahoo does. They're good people up there. But I don't know. You don't want to jeopardize established value you have for potential value in a lot of cases. Depends on who you're trading. Okay. So, all right. I don't know. Anyone else there? The receivers, we don't know what to make. Corey Davis didn't practice Wednesday. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess there. But I still overall love the setup of the passing game. It's just every week's going to be difficult for that to choose. Right. So. All right. Anyway. Raise your hands. You won less than you thought last season in daily fantasy football, right? Us, we raise our hands every time with this one. You play against people with 100 entries, and it sounds great, and it doesn't go well, and you need to rethink things sometimes. If you're tired of losing at daily fantasy football, check out Let's Rumble in the Apple App Store. Let's Rumble, without an E at the end, Let's Rumble, matches you with players of the same skill level, giving you a fair chance every time. Play head-to-head for your best chance of winning, or group up to play multiple rivals for a bigger payout. Rank in the weekly leaderboards to win free cash prizes. You heard that right. Free cash prizes awarded every week. All you have to do is play the game. You'll be entered in the leaderboards. Your highest score will determine your spot that week. Download Let's Rumble in the Apple App Store and get a free $5 bonus with your deposit. Let's Rumble in the Apple App Store. Thanks, Let's Rumble. So, Tim, last week when we were done, we talked about shortening this up, and we're at 54 minutes with 4 games to go. So, it's not going well. I don't know. It's fun. I'm okay with whatever. Everybody, we hope you're still entertained. Pay me to talk. I'm fine with it. Whatever. Chiefs, Chargers. Oh, Chargers. Yeah.
Poor guys.
Yeah.
They're good.
They are. But I saw a good tweet. I forget who it was from. I think it was from RotoWire. It's not bad luck to carry an unproven kicker who really isn't NFL ready or something like that. Yeah. So. Anyway.
So all right. So Gordon's playing.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, this is a usual suspects game. It looks like fantasy wise. I mean, your Chiefs are Hunt and Tyreek Hill, and they're playing. Kelsey. Your Chargers are Gordon and Keenan, and they're playing. And Rivers, he's sort of borderline-ish.
Yeah, he's fringy QB1. Offensive line's been kind of bad for the Chargers.
Right.
I worry about that with the good pass rush for the Chiefs. I mean, and then always the counterbalance. I'm going to say they lost Eric Berry, so that opens up things a little bit. And Marcus Peters probably not going to follow Keenan Allen. I would guess not. He really doesn't most of the time. Right. So maybe Tyrell Williams has the bad week, and Allen still keeps going. So
Philip Rivers, I really think he wants to throw to Keenan Allen every play.
You're probably right.
He loves it. He loves him. So do I. Until he gets hurt.
But Hunter Henry got back.
Yeah.
So I was very happy about that.
His owners are off the ledge.
Well, now with the tight end carnage, you're like, oh, I'm glad I held on to Hunter Henry after all that.
Right. I mean, even though, and like we basically, the Gates vultured touchdowns are built in to the draft price.
They were, absolutely.
So all good there. All right. Bengals Packers. All right. So and we talk about buy lows, and it really and we've talked about this, and it's easy to say buy low, right? And you said, with Cooks, you didn't think good. I mean, if you have specific questions about buying low, tweet us. Right? Tim's at Tim_Heaney. I'm at Halpin37. Does Mixon sort of fit that description for you? Do you think this situation will shake itself out? Because that seemed to be the popular opinion a couple of weeks ago, that it would start as a committee-ish thing and Mixon would win.
I can still see that playing out. I'm a Giovanni Bernard apologist too.
Yeah, I like him.
I still think there's a good two-way game about him. I think that a Bernard Mixon pair could be great if they get Jeremy Hill out of the way, which they're not. I mean, Hill got 15 snaps last week. Mixon got 16. Hill was third in snaps last week. A lot of that was because of the game flow. It was kind of they had to kind of keep pace with the Texans, which is weird to say, but just a weird type of game. But Bernard is the best at everything right now.
Yep.
Mixon is going to be that guy because he's got a little bit more size to him.
Well, okay, so the Bengals, look, coaches have to make sound, logical decisions, blah, blah, blah. But, however, the Bengals are desperate. Marvin Lewis is desperate. A new offensive coordinator's coming in. Mm-hmm. Do you think he comes in and he looks at the tape, right? And he's looking at different tape, more tape than me. But he looks at it and he probably goes, why on earth am I playing Jeremy Hill?
Yeah, I hope so.
Right? I mean, basically, I got to get the ball to the guys who can make plays, and he's pretty clearly number 3 in this pecking order on that front.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Bill Lazor's had an interesting offensive history there. Remember all those years we thought he'd do the next big thing with Ryan Tannehill. Didn't always pan out, but there's some upside in the change. I think there's a little bit more excitement with Lazor, minimally more excitement. So I don't know. Maybe not this week, but I think it has a chance to pay off down the road this season. But that offensive line's got to get better.
I know.
Maybe the scheme will mold better to them. I don't know.
So Lazor was a Chip Kelly guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was why all the excitement in Miami.
But you can't.
That was going down.
I mean, basically, you can't change your tempo that much on a dime.
No, it's gonna take at least a few weeks, I would think.
Okay,
and it's not a good week to test all that either.
No, it's not. Yeah. So where are you on AJ? I mean, AJ Green's another one. You have to play him, but you can't be totally happy. This isn't a terrible matchup, though.
Yeah.
Pass defense wise.
Yeah. I have Green in a keeper league, so I'm playing him regardless.
Yeah. Right.
So, it's. Yeah, but at least his cornerbacks are pretty terrible, so that's a positive.
Right. Jordy, what's Jordy's status?
He practiced, I believe, at least limited, if not fully, Wednesday. So I think he's on track unless he has a setback. So.
Sounds like he's going to play. Okay.
Yeah, Cobb is less of a certainty. So
got it. All right. Raiders Redskins Sunday night. This is the highest, by the way, over-under is 54 with the Raiders favored. So the Raiders are up there with the Patriots as the highest implied point total of the week, 28.5. Patriots 27.75. So, the Raiders are. This is such a good offense.
They move.
Yeah.
I wasn't the biggest Marshawn Lynch fan either, but I was like, all right, there's a chance he just motors. But Andrew Laird, one of our good tweeters as well, said, it took him a couple times to get in the end zone from close. So, volume is still going to be there. It's going to be the defining aspect of Lynch, but he does look like vintage when he's between the tackles most of the time, though.
He looks really good.
It's a great line, too. So
everybody there looks. Basically everybody there. And this is a situation. This is a Carr game if you have him.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
They can avoid Norman pretty easily. Either way, I think it might be Crabtree, but Crabtree moves too, so it's not. No, I don't think Norman's going to be able to follow anybody because Cooper and Crabtree, that's going to be a lot to handle.
Right.
So,
all right. Jordan Reed, is not what you wanted, but he's still getting the ball.
Yeah.
And if they get near the end zone, they're going to try to throw to him.
If he plays.
Yeah.
Didn't practice Wednesday, the chest sternum issue. That injury report changed like 4 times.
Right.
It was like AC joint, SC joint, something else maybe, and then the chest sternum bruise or whatever. You got to line up Jared Cook or Vernon Davis if you can, if you have them.
Yeah, that's true. That lets you wait. You're right.
Yeah.
No one on Monday lets you wait because people. Is Witten highly owned? Witten's probably highly owned.
After he had a huge week in week 2.
Yeah,
so.
he did.
Yeah.
All right. Terrell Pryor, what do you work? Is this chemistry issue bothering you?
A little bit.
Is that it? Do you think that's it?
I think that's it. You want to talk about buy, not buy low, but just buy. I think there's buy there, but it's risk reward buy. I think I was of the impression that last year there was a quick change to wide receiver, worked out well. Facing the Eagles and facing who they faced last week, Washington. They faced
the
Rams. That's 2 pretty decent cornerback assignments. They're pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jermaine Johnson followed Pryor most of the time. So this week might be a bit of a break, but the Raiders have some good secondary play as well. So if Reed doesn't play, I'm excited about Pryor a little bit more. But
right. Okay.
I don't know. It's wide receiver 3 again.
And the running backs, we're not sure what's going to happen. Kelly, we're not sure if he's going to play. We think he is. Yeah. He came out last week, and Perine got the ball 21 times. Everybody cut him last week because he didn't touch the ball in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's back, and he wasn't that impressive. His volume was great.
Yeah.
But he didn't do a lot with it.
Yeah, he's a guy that needs to thrive on the interior as well because he moves pretty well in space. But the interior of that Redskins line is not good. I like Thompson when he gets the ball.
I love him
too. There's excitement there. Fluke plays whatever you want last week at the long touchdowns, but he's that role. He's that change of pace, and with this rate, the Redskins are going to need to change their pace a lot because they can't do much. So
right, I would give that guy the ball as much as I could if I was them.
Yeah, me too.
I think Gruden likes him, but I wonder why he doesn't get the ball in his hands more.
Yes.
Okay, last one: Cowboys Cardinals Monday night. Are you worried about Dak at all?
Yeah, a little bit. He's faced 2 really good defensive lines so far, and that offensive line is an issue. People didn't talk about the loss of Leary enough.
Yeah.
Collins has got upside, but he really hasn't graded well out of the gate. Witten's been involved because he's had to dump the ball off so much.
Right.
And Des Bryant getting downfield hasn't been easy. I mean, he got that touchdown last week because they were at the 2 or 1 or whatever, and he just happened to win a good matchup with Talib, and he can do that in short space. But downfield stuff with Des, it's not working.
Yeah.
I mean, Dak doesn't have time.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know. And all right, and it's the line. Okay, that's fair. Man, I don't want to beat Dak up because it's, like you said, it's not all him.
It's not all his fault. I still think there's there's regression with their interceptions. He only threw 4 last year. That was going to kind of go up a little bit, but
right.
He's still a good decision maker. So,
are you as far as Zeke goes? I mean, last week, that was just that was a tough game last week.
Bad match.
They're throwing to him a lot more. I mean, they talked about it. And they're putting their money where their mouth is so far on that.
Yeah.
It's nice. I mean, if you drafted him, well, I mean, it depends on when.
Well,
that.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a really nice payoff, because if he runs as well as we think he can run and he catches 50 to 60 passes, holy moly!
Yeah, I think he's okay this week too. He'll get the ball and just get him with a head of steam and a little bit of get him on the wheel or whatever, and he'll be dangerous. So I don't know. Still interesting to see. I'd love to see him hustle more if he saw that play, but
was that just one play?
He has that body language a bit more this year.
Okay.
I don't know. There's a little bit more of a bitterness about him, and there's a little bit more of a, jerkness about him. I don't know. I can't say I speak to his character highly, but
Right. It was so funny how everybody just jumped all over him. Emmitt Smith would have never done that. Oh my God, shut up! It was one. I mean, come on. I don't know if it was more than one play, but it looked like we didn't see a ton of evidence. Let's say
there's an air about him that I'm not sure I like him as a person.
Oh, well, I mean, he hit people allegedly.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, anyway, moving
Cardinals.
On. Yeah.
Chris Johnson. Come on.
Fall forward or whatever, I don't know. This backfield's a mess.
I know, but he's going to get the ball.
And it's a good matchup.
It is.
It is.
I'm
starting him in a league for sure.
Right?
Yeah, deeper league for sure. Like a couple flex spots. But, yeah, I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence looks decent as a pass rusher, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that.
That's true.
The Jalen Smith-Sean Lee combo might actually work a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But, you start Chris Johnson. I think.
God, who would have thought that?
He knows the system. Kerwin Williams, I guess. I mean, I still think Kerwin's the most exciting, all things equal. If you give them all equal workloads, I think he would do more with it.
Right. And the other one, Andre Ellington last week. What did he catch last week? He caught 3.
Yeah.
No, forget it. Okay.
Yeah, Chris Johnson. It's weird. I know.
The receivers. Are you on the Carson Palmer is toast camp, or is he still okay?
I think mostly toast, but now that everyone's dropping him, I'm like, he'd make a pretty decent backup if all breaks right again.
Yeah, and this week could tell us, I think.
I like what I've seen from Nelson so far, JJ. I mean, I have him in a fishbowl league, and I'm very happy about that.
You should be.
I mean, that he's their downfield guy. The John Brown and Jerron Brown stuff is just going to be hard to figure out every week with those two, but I think JJ Nelson's the let's go downfield and see what happens guy.
Right.
So, non-PPR, you like that. So,
all right, let's wrap it.
Yeah.
And we talked about a lot.
We did.
A lot of players. All right, everybody, listeners to this podcast, get a free 10-day RotoWire trial, rotowire.com/pod. No credit card required. That lets you check out nearly all the features on the site. Check it out now, rotowire.com/pod. Tim, other than being all over RotoWire's social media, what else are you up to?
All over. I've got a radio appearance with ESPN Radio New Orleans this afternoon at 3:30 Eastern. If you want to check that out, I'll be tweeting about it. Wrapping up baseball actually for the most part this coming week, and Sunday I'll be doing the Facebook Live lineup chat. The Down to the Wire Facebook chat. I'm trying to get that branding down because every wire pun we have to have.
That's right.
So it's just what we do.
What time are you doing that?
Oh, I think it's going to start at noon Eastern this week. A little bit longer because first couple weeks you got to figure out what your routine is every morning, I guess. So hopefully 12 to 12:45, I think is what I'm aiming for this coming Sunday. So be there, and we'll have John McKechnie on tonight on the Facebook page for Thursday lineup questions. So
cool.
Although how many guys are you going to consider starting Thursday? But nice to get ahead on things during the week as well. So
you might miss a barn burner of an ending of Jags Ravens if you do noon to 12:45.
Yeah, well, I'll be doing hopefully some live play-by-play on some of that as we go. So
great,
and we can recap the morning a little bit too. Say what we're actually watching, what we've seen. So it'll be good. 12
to 12:45, where Blake Bortles gets 100 yards passing.
Yeah,
in garbage time.
Hey, man, that helps people either way.
It does. You can't complain.
Two quarterback, you got to like it.
All right, everybody, please review and rate this podcast if you like it. And if you're listening, we'd appreciate that. Thank you for listening to this edition of the RotoWire Fantasy Football Podcast, sponsored by Fanball. Our next episode is going to be coming Friday. Derek Van Riper will put a bow on the week, check in on the injury reports and all that. For Tim Heaney, I'm John Halpin. See you next time.